We got the ESA, who have decided, and if you don't know who the ESA is, it's the Entertainment Software Association. They're the guys behind E3. They plan to go ahead with a digital E3 this year and have said that the ESA's intentions are to hold multiple 2-hour keynote sessions from game partners and an award show, a June 14th preview night, and other smaller streams from game publishers, influencers, and media partners. So it sounds like as close to a full E3 showing as they can get within the confines of a digital kind of situation. So for anyone not on the show floor, E3 is not going to look demonstrably, different from what we would have experienced as viewers from home in the last couple of years previous to of course, the pandemic. But other than, of course, if they, depending on who's doing it, it'll be like when PlayStation did their everything pre-recorded, and it was just the, CEO or whatever standing on a stage in front of like 6 shadow head figures of the front, like nobody actually in a crowd. He's just like talking on stage. It'd be like that all over again, basically, is what I would expect. The only things that we don't know so far, or we do, I should say, so some of one or the other, the plans have yet to be approved by the ESA's members, so this isn't final yet. Jeff Keighley will not be involved again, but will be focusing on the Summer Games Fest, which it has more or less already kind of taken on a lot of the mantle from E3 in the first place. Like, it only took them one really good run at the Summer Games Fest, and people were like, fucking E3. just give me this. I don't necessarily need E3. So they're gonna be like, we're gonna have like a first, little headbutting of Summer Games Fest versus the E3 week. I doubt they'll overlap, but it'll be fun to see, for example, what developers and publishers choose to show at which event, and exclusively, which one might get the first looks at certain things. Also, there's no details on signups yet as far as which businesses would be part of it, but it is reported that it's possibly a 6-figure entry fee for the program. This has been a bit of a problem with E3 in the last several years now, is that only the people with a freaking ton of money, or indie developers that just risk it as a marketing venture, could afford to go to the floor. If you're looking at a $100,000 plus entry fee, and you are a 5-person indie developer making a game that actually has a fair amount of traction, but you don't have any money for it yet, the internet's talking about you, but you haven't sold any copies yet. Spending north of $100,000 is a risky endeavor, and it's why you would have seen, Microsoft and Sony do what they did. Eventually, Microsoft was setting up in the building next to the E3 building and doing their presser there. Sony went external. Nintendo hasn't been part of E3 in I don't even know how long now.
Dude, E3's dead, man. E3. I think we've been doing this podcast for years, and I think every year it just gets more dead.
Is this like a nail in the coffin year? Is this E3's last attempt, last opportunity to try and maintain relevancy?
I think that there will always be an E3. I just think it's not what it was, or what it's going to be a different version of E3. Like, we're talking much smaller. It won't be known as like an E3 week anymore. And I think it'll just be, there'll be an event, and it'll probably feel a lot more corporate, smaller. And you're going to have Nintendo doing their own thing, Sony doing their own thing, Microsoft doing their own thing. And then you've got a bunch of, it might even turn into like, the more obscure things of the gaming industry that just won't make prime big time news. I mean, I don't know. It's either that or it'll just die. I think those are the two options.
I think that this year is probably their last chance at maintaining relevancy. It's just if that's true and they're still charging six figures to get in and it's a digital fucking event, it's not even like you're not renting floor space, right? You're not renting banner room, floor space. You're not taking up a section of, a plaza. This is pure video content. And so you're just taking up a chunk of time. And E3 doesn't have to only happen across 3 days now because it's not a physical event. You could run it's like summer game, like the summer game shit is like literally they line the shit up for like almost 2 months. E3 could easily run for 14 fucking days to get as many people in at a lower price point as possible. I'm not saying make it free, but $100,000+ buy-in fee? What the fuck?
I mean, shit, make it free.
Jeff Keighley might just do that. He might look at it and go, fuck it. Make it free. It might already be free.
Yeah, if you make it free. Here's the thing, man. Like, I think a lot of these companies are realizing we can pull in as the same or bigger numbers and not share the stage with other companies and do it on our own dime and not be compared on who's winning what. It's just like, hey, we have our own date. We do our own thing. For all you Xbox fans out there, all you Nintendo fans, or all you PlayStation fans, this is the day. We're not competing. We are competing, but we're not. It isn't this like who won E3. Yeah. It's like this is what you get. And they're also realizing with the power of Twitch. I mean, back when E3 was a thing, Twitch wasn't a thing. Like now you've got big Twitch watch parties where every major content creator sitting there rewatching whatever it is.
It'll be Twitch, it'll be YouTube, it'll be Facebook, it'll be on every fucking platform.
It'll be on everything.
Yeah.
So if Sony goes and does their own thing or Nintendo does their own thing, they're going to have just as much, if not more, and it's going to be dedicated to the fans that are interested in what they're doing, and they don't have all this extra added pressure. All this like, hey, there's 3 dudes in a room, or in this case, 4 dudes in a room, and there's one chick. And the chick's like, who's got the bigger dick and who looks better? I'm going to take this guy at face value, right? But instead, you have your own you have your own room. You're the only dude in there, and she's got no choice but to pick you because, well, you're the only one in the room. I mean, and E3, you want to charge? It's like, you know what? Before, that might have been a business model that worked because they had leverage. They had eyes. They had an event. So, like, paying that fee or whatever, it made sense. But now, I mean, fuck. You can have one famous Twitch streamer or even Twitch just broadcasting your thing, and you're going to have 1 million people watch your thing live on one platform. One.
It's so it's funny how quickly E3 became a rocky proposal for gaming companies and even people and even like convention goers. So like I can't remember what year it was now, but there was it was either 1 or 2 years where so E3 had reached like its peak of they had opened the show floor to players on or like normal everyday folk that could buy their tickets or whatever to get certain levels of access, and there were still journalists going in and whatnot, but it was like 50,000 people going through the gates at E3, and it was just like Las Vegas, lights everywhere, fucking shit was going crazy, there were booth girls all over the place, titties hanging out, whatever you could do to get attention, you did it.
Yeah.
And it was this. It got ballooned and ballooned and ballooned, and then eventually somebody said internally, you know what? We need to go back to what E3 was originally, which is just a convention. It was more like a business to business, like a B2B convention, not to consumers. And so they reverted it back to just being like meetings in hotel rooms for like a year or two. And I can't remember what year that was. I want to say it was like in like the 2010, 2011 maybe even a little bit later than that. I can't place it now, but they tried it and nobody gave a fuck anymore but E3, and they went, wait a minute, that was a bad idea. And then when they brought it back, it was like, you know what it was? It was like you and I, here's the analogy, there's no penises involved, but it was like you and I on YouTube, and we did our co-op stuff on the main channel first. And it was, and every video had like 50, 60,000 views per like side. So your side would get 60,000, my view would get 60,000. We do a whole playthrough, it'd be like 1 million views total for like a playthrough. Then we start up Lag TV 2 because it was the hot shit to split out into multiple channels. We do that. The co-op stuff fucking dove off the face of the earth immediately. Minecraft still had like the eyeballs, and then we went, wait a minute. This was a terrible idea, like a year, 2 years after we make that channel. And we go, and we're like, fuck the StarCraft people. We're gonna put our shit on the main channel. Fuck it. And we bring it back to the main channel. And it bombed again, because nobody cared anymore. It was like 3,000 views a video. It was the same shit with E3. They had a formula that was winning. A couple people complained about wait times and lineups. They said, this ain't it. Fucking put them in a bunch of like hotel rooms and just have like 16 people in a room talking to like a CEO. Brought it back after that bombed, and nobody fucking cared anymore. And now here we are. Jeff Keighley's taken over the whole fucking like video game journalistic industry as far as the Game Awards go, and now he's got the Summer Games Fest, where he's got so many connections that they're just bypassing E3 and like, fuck your $100,000+ buy-in.
Yeah, fuck that.
Fuck all that corporate nonsense. We know that people at home still want to see a show, they still want to be involved, they still want to get informed, but we don't need to do this shit anymore. You fucked it. If they had stayed there the whole time, the illusion might have never been broke, like shattered. They might have still been locked into that, you know, you get comfortable, everyone just does it, it's routine. But the moment you break that routine, people go, wait a minute, I didn't need that shit after all. And now you're fucked. Now they're trying to get back into relevancy. And so we'll wait and see. I think this year, in my opinion, will be the last attempt to maintain relevancy. And maybe it will end up being like you're saying, where it'll be a bit more obscure. And in that regard, I would assume then that it would try and go back to its roots of being just business to business all over again. They'll admit defeat.
Yep.
Take it, Jeff Keighley. We'll just do business to business shit. It might not even get videos online. It might just literally be private like it used to be.
Yep.
Fucking call it a day.
Yep.
But we'll wait and see.